You're listening to the CIP podcast, the Study Abroadcast, Season 6, Episode 1. In this show, we explore the world of study abroad, offering advice, insights, and travel stories. I'm your host, Andrew. I'm currently in my fourth year of the Arts and Sciences program, a CIP Peer helper, and I did an exchange semester at Linköping University in Sweden in the fall of 2023. Today, on this episode, I am joined by fellow peer helpers, Andrea, Bridget, and Zoe to discuss some of the most frequently asked questions we get about study abroad. So before we get started, would you guys each like to tell us a little bit about yourselves and your study abroad experience? We'll start with Andrea.
Hi, my name's Andrea. I'm just coming back from my exchange in Manchester, which was so great. I love British people. I love their accents. The food was quite interesting. And yeah, back in Guelph, I'm in my fourth year of English with a marketing minor, and I recommend exchange for everyone that's interested.
Very good, thank you. Bridget?
Hi, I'm Bridget. I'm in my fourth year of neuroscience at the University of Guelph. I did my exchange at the Summer Academy at Linköping University in Sweden in summer 2024. I loved it. I got to learn the Swedish language in my class, and I would highly recommend to anybody.
Okay, perfect. So you did a summer program, which we will talk about the different programs available shortly. And then finally we have Zoe.
Hi, my name is Zoe. I'm in my fourth year of the Bachelor of Arts and Science program in Chemistry and International Development. I did my exchange from January to May of 2025 at the National University of Singapore. My friends and family always joked that I picked the furthest place possible from Guelph to do my exchange. So I definitely encourage you to definitely push outside your comfort zone and try something new and go somewhere that you would never expect.
All right, awesome. So we'll just get right into the questions here. So the first, most common and probably relevant question right now is, what is the first step to studying abroad? Andrea, would you be able to answer this question for us?
Yeah, the first step to studying abroad is attending an info session, and we have lots of options for those. They're in person or online, so you can choose either or. And we have them Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. and Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. in the third floor of the UC for the in-person ones. And then we also have some online ones through Teams if you're interested. And we have a CourseLink course that you can complete at your own pace if these times don't fit your schedule or if you'd rather go at your own pace.
Yeah, exactly. I was so unorganized when it came to study abroad, and I decided I wanted to do it last minute. So that's why the CourseLink course was actually really helpful for me, because I missed all the info sessions, so I just did the CourseLink course right away. How about you guys? Did you guys do the info session online in person or the CourseLink?
I did the online info session. It just fit better with my class schedule, but it's great. There's so many options to fit your class schedule. If you want to go in person, do the online one or the course link, there's different options to fit your schedule for sure.
I did mine online as well. Actually, it was somebody who had gone to Linköping as well, one of the CIP peer helpers, and he was actually the one that convinced me to go to Linköping. He had such great things to say about it, so I do highly recommend going to one that a CIP peer helper does run, because they have such great things to say and such good information and recommendations.
Yeah, that's a great point. I went to an online one, and I kind of wish I had gone to an in-person one just to have a CIP peer helper there if I have any questions, or just to hear from their experiences. It really adds to it, I think.
I love that the info sessions were run by someone that went on exchange. It just made it more personable and to hear from a real student's experience.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I think it's really valuable to hear from somebody, and I think it motivates you to do it more when you see somebody who actually physically went on an exchange talking about their experience. And the thing with the info sessions is that it literally is the first step. You can't apply without going to an info session. So if you're interested at all in studying abroad, definitely go into the info sessions Monday 1 to 2 p.m., Wednesday 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Okay, so we'll move on to the second question, which is about finances. So a common concern that students have is about their finances. What can students hoping to go on exchange expect as far as costs? We'll just start with Zoe for this one.
Yeah, the nice thing about study abroad, especially for the semester exchange, is you're actually paying the same tuition as if you were doing a semester at the University of Guelph. And your tuition is also like adapted if you're have a reduced course load due to SAS, so that's not a concern at all. And because you're still registered as a University of Guelph student, you're still eligible for OSAP and any scholarships and bursaries that you would normally receive. Typically, though, on average, when talking to students, they say it's about 1.5 times more than a semester at the University of Guelph. But again, that all just depends on your personal spending habits. And for example, some locations in Asia and the Americas and Africa are sometimes even cheaper. I can kind of attest to this. I was in Asia and I was eating for about $10 a day, sometimes even less. And my housing for 5 months was just over $2,000, which was also cheaper than Guelph. So, there's definitely different ways to adapt and just meet your budget.
So Zoe, this is like kind of crazy, but do you think you ended up saving money by studying in Singapore due to like how cheap the food was and your rent?
In terms of like rent and food, definitely. Because Singapore was so far, the additional cost of the flight and like any extra travel probably made it about the same. But if you're just looking at strictly like tuition, food, and housing, I would say yeah, it's definitely cheaper, funny enough.
All right, Andrea and or Bridget, do you guys have anything to add about finances or your experience with the cost?
I found Manchester to be a bit expensive just because the pound is, it doesn't really convert as easily to Canadian dollars. Like things in pounds cost almost double what they cost in a Canadian dollar. So things were a bit expensive for me in the UK. Like if a drink was £12, you're looking at that and you're like, okay, that's not that bad. And it's actually $24, which is ridiculous. So I found things in the UK to be a bit expensive, but it was nice to pay Guelph tuition and I had saved up money for it, which I recommend that you do even if you're going to somewhere cheaper, just so you'll have room to travel, to take flights to different places. That'll be really nice. So yeah, do save up money before you go, but because different places can cost more or less than others.
My experience, my mom helped me pay for a lot of it, which was really nice. I also did have some money saved up. I've been saving since high school. I knew I wanted to go on exchange ever since, so I had a lot of money saved up for that as well. One thing that's really helpful is that Guelph does have a lot of scholarships and stuff for people going abroad, and there's like an award search on our website, which is really nice to be able to go through everything and see which ones you're eligible for and everything. It's also important to keep in mind that like how long you go will affect how much it's going to cost. Like for me, I only went in the summer, so it was nowhere near what it would have costed to go during like a fall semester like Andrew you did. So I think it's really important if you're worried about finances to kind of consider how long you're going to be there for as well.
Yeah, for sure. So you can definitely make it what you want it to be. Like you can research going to a place that's like a little bit less expensive rent wise and food wise. You can go for a short amount of time if you're concerned. So definitely do research if you are concerned about how much the study abroad program is going to cost. But it is very accessible due to you still paying your same tuition at Guelph. No additional fees built in. Okay, so we'll go for Bridget with this one. What kind of study abroad programs does CIP offer?
Yeah, so there's actually multiple different exchanges you can do. You can do like a semester exchange, which is either the fall or winter semester usually, but the dates kind of depend on where you're going. It's not going to always line up with what Guelph's fall and winter semester dates are, so that's something to take into consideration. We also have summer exchange programs, which is one that I did. I did the summer academy at Linköping, and I was there for about a month. We also have the field schools, which I believe are about 2 to 3 weeks in the summer as well. Summer language programs and research programs.
Yeah, so the field schools, those are really cool because you're traveling with a group of students from Guelph with a Guelph professor. So it's pretty much one course. It's usually worth half a credit or a full credit, and you're just doing like an intensive study at one specific location in the world. I think there's New Zealand, Madagascar, there's one in the Caribbean, France has one. I'm not sure if I'm missing any. But yeah, there are several different programs. Definitely use the program search tool on the CIP website. Find out whichever one works best for you. Okay, our next question is where can I study abroad? What kind of options are available as far as location? Andrea, would you be able to speak to this one?
Yeah, we have so many options, which is amazing. There's over 30 countries across 6 continents. So, yeah, you can go to Australia, you can go all across Europe, to Asia, to Africa, to South America. There's lots. Some popular ones are Australia, Belgium, Denmark, India, Italy, Malta, Brazil, etc.
Yeah, for sure. What made you guys choose the country that you eventually studied abroad in?
I liked that Manchester was a big city. I really wanted somewhere that was very vibrant and that had lots of things to do and lots of nightlife. And it just felt like I needed to go out and see England, and it was so close to a lot of other places. Like I visited Paris and Spain, and so I feel like having a central place in Europe was good for me as well.
Yeah, I agree. Europe is super good for being able to travel, and it's so easy to travel via trains, and it's so accessible to be able to travel within Europe. Zoe, what made you choose Singapore? I know you said it was far away.
Yeah, it's actually funny. My teacher in the 6th grade put on a documentary on Singapore, and it was almost like framed as like this perfect country. I don't know if a lot of people are aware, but there's some very interesting laws in Singapore. You're not allowed to chew gum. It's very clean. It has like the world's lowest crime rate. Like it's the safest country in the world. There are just all these like super cool, fun facts about it that I wanted to go experience for myself, and I'm so glad I did. It was amazing. Where Singapore is, it's literally 1 degree above the equator, so it's also about 40 degrees every day. So it was a nice change from the Canadian climate. And yeah, I had the opportunity to travel around Asia as well and go to places that I wouldn't have otherwise seen. I did 10 countries in total. My favorites were probably Singapore, of course. I loved Japan and Korea, and Philippines and Thailand were also just stunning. But yeah, it was a great central location, and also the Singapore airport is kind of famous as well for what's inside, including like a butterfly conservatory and the waterfall and all that. So I'm just glad I got to experience like this super unique place.
Okay, nice. So, as definitely, if you're planning to travel, think about where your host university is going to be because Zoe, you were talking about doing a lot of travel around Asia. Andrea was talking about a lot of travel around Europe. Bridget, what made you choose? Because we went to the same school. What made you choose Linköping, Sweden?
Yeah, so I knew I wanted to go to a summer program, so that kind of limited my options a lot than when the like semester exchange, what the semester exchange ones have, because there's not as many summer options. I was actually really lucky though because I did want to go to Sweden, even if it was in the semester or summer. Um, I went to Sweden before I decided where I wanted to go on exchange, and I fell in love with it. This culture, like the people, everything about it, I loved, and I knew I wanted to go there. And like I said before, the CIP peer helper who did the info session had such great things to say about Linköping that it was just a no-brainer for me to choose Linköping. Yeah, and again, Sweden is very close to a lot of countries in Europe, like Andrea said. So it was super nice to be able to travel around Europe, and it was actually not too bad cost-wise. So it was pretty nice.
Yeah, I found the cost very similar to Canada in Sweden. Okay, moving on to the next question. So, what is the best time in my degree to study abroad? Is it my first year? Is it one of my last years? And does studying abroad impede graduation? So can I still graduate on time if I study abroad? We'll go to Zoe for this one.
Yeah, so the great thing about study abroad is anyone in any program can apply, and you can definitely still graduate on time if you study abroad. You can take courses that count as electives, or you can take courses that count as core credits. All of that is determined by your program counselor, but you can definitely still graduate on time. The best time to study abroad, this kind of varies by person, but most students go abroad in their 3rd year, if not your 3rd year, like your 2nd year or your first semester of 4th year. But 3rd year is definitely like the more popular one, just because that way it's not your graduating year. You've had 2 years to kind of adjust to the university lifestyle, and 3rd year is probably like the most popular time that people go abroad.
Yeah, because I think third year too is when the courses start to like open up as far as selection, and it just makes the process of study abroad and like choosing your courses when you're abroad a little bit easier because you've finished all of your baseline like requirements and you kind of have more options there.
Definitely. Like in terms of my degree, like I just had to take like a second year level arts course to count for 1 credit. And I was like, oh, that's easy to pick up abroad. Like that's easy to transfer back. So stuff in like those more broad categories are like super easy to transfer back to your degree, as well as electives as well.
Yeah, for me, I went in my second year, which is a little bit more unconventional because people tend to go a little bit later. But what I did is I just did all electives while I was abroad, which I would recommend because it's kind of the easiest thing to do. You don't really have to stress. You can take easier courses and have like a little bit of a lighter course load. And yeah, the only thing that changes, I just didn't have any electives when I came back to Guelph, and now I just have to do all of my required courses. So yeah, Andrea or Bridget, do you have anything to add for this question?
Yeah, I can kind of discuss like my experience. So I actually am a transfer student, so I was a little concerned about getting credits and graduating on time. So I was really thankful to be able to go in the summer because I didn't have to worry about pushing any of my credits back or trying to get a fall only class done before I'm graduating. So it was really nice that way to take something in the summer if you are worried about having to push anything back.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So great to hear that it is very accessible for you, wherever you are in your degree. Okay, for the next question, it is what is the application process like, and how likely am I to get accepted into a study abroad program? We'll go to Bridget for this one to start.
Yeah, so like we mentioned before, you first have to attend one of our information sessions to be able to access our application, which usually opens around the mid December time. This is also when the spots are released for all of the universities. And then your application is due the last Friday in January, I believe, this coming up year.
I want to say the deadline is January 23rd.
Okay, thank you, Zoe.
I'm pretty sure.
And then if you're accepted, you get accepted in early March, and you have a week to accept your offer. In terms of how likely it is you are to get accepted, it kind of depends where you're applying and what your average is across all your years of university. You do have to have a minimum of 68% to apply, but where you apply kind of depends on how likely you are to get accepted, like I said, because some places are more competitive than others.
Yeah, and Andrea, would you be able to talk about how CAP goes about placing students in their respective universities?
Yeah, I think it's just based off of who, in some cases, if things are like tight, it's between who has the highest acceptance average. But yeah, you can still get a placement even if you do have just above a 68 average is the minimum. And yeah, you also need to submit a personal statement with why you want to go and what you hope to achieve from it. But I feel like as long as you're, putting in some places that might be less competitive as bottom options, you have a good chance of going on exchange.
Yeah, I agree. I think most people do get accepted. There are a few people who unfortunately do not each cycle, but I think majority of the people do get accepted, even if it isn't one of your top choices. So just I recommend being open to going to a bunch of different places, as well as, like Andrea said, putting some of the less competitive locations on your list as well. And the most competitive locations being generally the English speaking countries. So Australia, New Zealand, anywhere UK is usually a little bit more competitive. But yeah, okay, let's go to the next question about accommodation. If I'm going on exchange, do I have to find my own accommodation, or will my host university provide me with accommodation? Andrea, what was your experience like with your accommodation in Manchester?
I had to apply through the school for accommodation, and it was a bit of a tricky process because housing is just quite competitive in Manchester. And I didn't get the option I initially wanted, but I still got this really nice residence that had a bunch of different people in it, and it was close to a bunch of social things, so that was good. But in my experience, you do have to find your own housing, although some universities will guarantee it, which is amazing. And yeah, I met a lot of great people in accommodation, and it was a great time.
Yeah, I know for me, I was stressed because I didn't have my accommodation going in and I thought I had to find it myself. But what I didn't realize was that once I was actually accepted to the host universities, they just had like an accommodation for me and they guaranteed it. So that was really nice to have. So yeah, it wasn't as stressful as I made it out to be. What was it like for you, Zoe?
Yeah, so for NUS, they don't guarantee residence for exchange students. However, I did not meet a single exchange student that did not get residence, which was nice. And I definitely met all my friends in residence. We were all exchange students that were living in the same building. I loved my room. It was great. My residence was close to like the MRT system, which is like the underground like subway. So it was great and easy to get around. The only one thing I will point out with NUS, because of the Singapore heat, not all of the rooms have air conditioning. Mine did not, which could also be why it was more affordable. So I did have to buy a portable aircon unit when I was there, which was an additional cost, but it wasn't anything severe that made it like totally super expensive. But yeah, I had a great on-campus experience. My residence had two dining halls. I had a single room. It was great.
Okay, and Bridget, did you have the same kind of experience as me, where your residence was guaranteed?
Yeah, I was really thankful for that. I was, like you said, really concerned about that, but the summer academy also guarantees accommodations. And what was nice was that everybody in the summer academy was all in the same like area. There were like 12 buildings, I think, and we were all in the same area, which was nice because you got to meet everybody from the summer academy, no matter what course they were in. And we had like a laundry building. We had a single room with its own bathroom, a shared kitchen. It was right across the road from a grocery store. It was about 20-minute walk to campus, so it was super close to everything, which was really nice.
Yeah, super nice that you kind of get to have like a little community of exchange students and meet people from all around the world that way. So it really depends on where you're going if you have to find your own accommodation. I think in most cases your host university attempts to find you accommodation if it isn't guaranteed. But that's definitely something to look into when choosing where you are going to study abroad. Okay, let's just go to the last question here. So it's kind of a two-parter. What was the best part about study abroad slash what's your favorite memory from study abroad? We'll start with Zoe for this one.
Yeah, I would definitely say the best part of study abroad is definitely the people you meet. You meet people from all around the world. You create so many international friendships, and I'm still in contact with like all of them to this day. Of course, you miss them terribly, but now you just have, hey, a free couch to crash on if you ever want to go visit them in another part of the world. So yeah, I'd definitely say like the highlight is the friendships. Also, just taking courses that you would not normally have like the chance to take is also super cool. I took a lot of local courses. I did a local cooking course. I took Mandarin, which was awesome. So just having opportunities that I wouldn't otherwise have had. Oh my gosh, my favorite memory. That's hard to pick. I would say my favorite memory for sure was definitely swimming with whale sharks in the Philippines. I love sea life, and we woke up at 4 a.m. and took this like 2-hour drive to the beach and just went swimming with whale sharks. It was the most amazing thing ever. Also, I love in Asia the it's called a grab bike. It's like their version of Uber in a way. So in Vietnam, I loved like just ordering a little motorcycle ride to wherever I got to go. It was definitely my new favorite form of public transit, and just feeling the breeze as you motorcycle through a new city. It was awesome.
All right, great. Andrea, what was your favorite memory slash the best part?
Oh, I love just traveling around the city. Like I had a bike that I'd rent out, like how Zoe had her motorcycle. I had this electric bike I'd rent, and I'd just bike around the streets of Manchester. Like there's so much happens in that city. There's noise out of every building, there's food being served, and all of the smells and stuff. So biking around is such a sensory experience with like the wind, and it's a very breezy weather there. And I think my favorite memory was the first time I went to Paris, which is also the only time. I wish there were more than one time. But when I was in Paris, it had been such a dream for me to go there that when I got off the subway and got off the metro and I saw everything, I was so touched. I started crying. Like when I saw the people and heard all the French and saw all the terraces, which are like burgundy, which is my favorite color. It was so beautiful that I started bawling, and I called my boyfriend and I was like, this is everything I thought it would be. And I just had so many fun times with my friends, and my boyfriend came and visited, and we made so many beautiful memories. So yeah, and people in your life from back home can also come visit you, so you can share in the good times with them as well.
That's so sweet and beautiful. Your France moment. Yeah, I can't say I've experienced anything like that, but That sounds awesome. Bridget, what was your favorite memory or the best part?
Yeah, I'm kind of just gonna echo what Zoe said. Like, the best part about studying abroad was meeting people from all over the world. They have such different experiences from you, and being able to like learn about like their culture and their background was so interesting. And actually, the best part, kind of backpacking off of that, was being able to travel with them. We got to bond so close together, being able to travel together. Um, yeah, and my favorite memory was probably taking the ocean bus in Stockholm. It's like a bus that turns into a boat, which was really cool because we got to see Stockholm from like land and by water, which was super cool because Stockholm is surrounded by water. So it was so cool to see it on a boat as well.
For me, I would say you guys were talking about biking. Sweden has like great infrastructure for biking. So I guess that was one of my favorite parts too, was being able to just take my bike anywhere in the city, and it was so easy and it was so accessible and it's free. A lot of the times the bike lanes would be like just as wide as the lanes for cars. So that was super cool for me. And I would say my favorite memory was when we took a trip that was organized through the school for exchange students to go up to Kiruna, which is a small town in the Arctic Circle. In the winter time, when we got to stay in cabins, with a bunch of other exchange students, and we did activities. We did like dog sledding. We saw northern lights. They had a sauna that was on like the lake, go in the water that was like carved out of ice. So that was definitely a super cool experience. Okay, do you guys have anything to add about the study abroad experience, or anything that you guys think that students should know if they decide to study abroad?
Yeah, I'd say like the one thing is like definitely like be kind to yourself. Definitely like similar to at home, there's gonna be good days and there's gonna be hard days as well. But take it as it comes, and it takes a lot of courage to study abroad on yourself. But it's definitely like all worth it in the end. But yeah, it's okay to be homesick. You're not the only one, and you're gonna have amazing times and sad times as well. It's just all part of the experience.
I would say know when to say no to things, but also say yes a lot. Say yes to a lot of opportunities that come your way. If people want to hang out, if people are joining a different club or society, get out there and do that. If you think about volunteering in the place you're at, that could be so fun as well. It kind of helps to just treat yourself like, instead of being like, okay, I'm on exchange, I have to act like things are different or I won't fit in, act like a regular person from that place. If people are all doing something, go along and try it out. It'll be fun. I started volunteering at this community garden that I just saw people at, and I had such a great time doing that every week. So, whatever the opportunities are, take them.
Studying abroad is I think it's a life-changing experience for so many people. So if you do decide to do it, just really try and seize the moment and make the most out of it, while, like Zoe said, recognizing that it's not always going to be the best time of your life 24/7. There are going to be challenges that come with it, but that's just like anything in life. Okay, so that is all the questions we have for today. Special thanks to our guests for the day, Andrea, Bridget, and Zoe. If you have any questions about studying abroad that we didn't answer, you can feel free to go to our website, uoguelph.ca/CIP, or send us an email at cip@uoguelph.ca. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we look to unpack the study abroad experience further.